one of the biggest things people do is walk into a room with an expectation of what they're getting out of a person. If your relationship feels genuine, it's genuine, and whatever's supposed to come of it's going to come of it. If I want that, but I can't afford that financially, whatever it may be, how do I get it? And then that's where my creativity would come from. And that creativity would translate to paper and other things. And you're like, okay, like we'll figure this out. And if the situation doesn't work, it doesn't work. I never would force it. Because if you force it, then you kind of become that asshole and like, oh shit, like what do you want now? It's like, that's not networking, dude. That's what you said, is like forcing your will upon someone. Like, bro, come on, man. That's not a network. What do I bring to the table first? If I'm not bringing anything to your table, bro, I'm not going to take a seat at it because I'm not bringing you value. Now, if I bring you value in a consistent manner, in longevity, at some point in time it's going to come back. And this is the problem. I think a lot of people want a network, but they don't know what it takes to build it. Like, paying the dues of building a network is making sacrifices, doing favors, being there when people need you because you're doing it for the right reasons, right? Because you're like, I genuinely think I can offer you something and I'm glad to do it. If you're not glad to do it, don't sit at the table. You know what I mean? It's you know, if I had an expectation of what I wanted in return, I would make it known right away. But now that's business. That's not a network. You have contracts. You have all these things. Like, and sometimes people think they have a network and they're doing these things, but they have these expectations that then become obligations on your end that they never vocalized. And that's the difference between having a network and the thought of having a network. Is your network's there when you need it, but you don't always call on it. You figure it out first. And then there's people that think they have a network, but all they do is just say, I need this done, I need this done, I need this done. And that one gets exhausting. It has to be mutually beneficial. And it doesn't even need to be spoken on. You know, what's understood doesn't need explained. That's the network I like to keep. And sometimes, yeah, like, you might have to fucking call a marker. You know, and it's like, hey, I really need this. I don't know anybody else for this purpose. And that's fine. But guess what? I owe you one. You know, there's times where I do stuff for people and they're like, I know I don't have to do it. Don't disrespect me though. Like, I want to do this for you. It's fine. I'm in the position to do this. Like, this is what we do. And some people don't understand that. You know, people don't know how to operate in an ambiguous nature. But then they'll get adjusted to it and then they'll take advantage of it. So that's whenever you have to tighten that network. So if you keep filling a cup and your cup isn't filled, sometimes you're like, okay, like, hey, you're not at the table anymore. Like, your seat's still there, but you have to reevaluate where you are and what you're bringing to the table.